Hello, I'm Jeff.
And I'm Virginia.
Welcome to the Spud
and Sweet Potato Podcast.
I like to call it a life cast.
Thanks for joining us as we share family experiences of almost 30 years of marriage. Welcome to the very first episode of the Spud and Sweet Potato Podcast. Today is March 20th, 2026. Now you may be wondering, Spud and Sweet Potato Podcast? What in the world? Would you like to tell us a little bit of how we got the name to our podcast, babe?
I would love to. So, years ago, and I'm laughing just because we just had a bit of a discussion about this. So, years ago when we were dating, Virginia and I had little pet names for each other. And my name for her was Sweet Potato. Now, she wants proof. We're going
to have to insert our discussion into this video.
That her mom and dad did not like the fact. Her mom didn't like it. I don't know if her dad did like it or not. Did like it that I called her Sweet Potato. And, but anyhow, I always remember that. She says I don't know what I'm talking about. So I remember loving calling her that just for the very fact that her parents supposedly did not like that. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I don't know. But nonetheless, so I always called her Sweet Potato. That was my name for her. And so when we were talking about doing a podcast, I was thinking about Sweet Potato. And of course, my first thought was Stud and Sweet Potato. But
which would be appropriate?
Then I got to think about it and I thought, you know what? Spud and Sweet Potato. So I'm Spud.
I'm Sweet Potato.
And this is the Spud and Sweet Potato Podcast. Boy, say that 10 times.
I know, right? No, thanks. That's right. That would be a blooper for sure.
Anyhow, so we would just want to be a blessing to everybody. If nothing else, maybe through what we just did, maybe somebody will get a belly roll from that. And you find out that we like to laugh as much as everybody else does. And we have disagreements.
Lots to laugh about.
Disagreements.
The best disagreements, though, end in laughter. So that's good.
Yeah.
So that's always a good thing.
At least we are smiling.
Yeah, we just thought we'd share our life experiences, maybe some lessons we learned, some funny stories, maybe some sad stories, how they worked in our lives and
hopefully something will be a blessing to you. The idea is hopefully that we will give something from our life. 30 years is not as long as I've got one at work. There's one couple that have been married for 71 years.
Wow.
So
that's amazing.
That's a long time. We're not anyways close to that, nor will we ever get there. But we're hoping that
you never know. You never know.
No. I'm too old for that. So we are hoping that maybe some of the stuff that we have, there'll be some wisdom that we can give to you, or even some life experience that you'll be able to take and to use in your life. Maybe it'll be an encouragement to you. Maybe it'll make you chuckle and laugh. Maybe you'll just enjoy watching it. And maybe as a young couple, you're saying, you know what? We go through that. It's great to see somebody married 30 years.
And we actually still like each other.
Yeah.
Not everybody can say that.
After we talked about that just a few seconds ago.
Well, I still like him, whether he likes me or not. Remains to be seen.
She told me, I'll tell you right now.
My goodness.
Anyhow, we'll give you a little of this is our welcome video. So we give you a little bit of a history on our life. I was born in Ohio, and I grew up in rural Ohio, and I grew up in a very a good home, a very poor home. My mother was a very godly woman, and when I was around 6 years old, my mother called me in with her great big blue Bible, and she presented to me the gospel of Jesus Christ. And that day I knelt down with her we called it a love seat. A couch was much bigger, a love seat was smaller, so we knelt down at the couch, and I made a profession of faith in Jesus Christ. And so I was born and raised. The first 30 years of my life I spent in Ohio. And I was going to show you my cup I'm holding. I'm also G-Paul. So.
Yes.
All right.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
I was born and raised, I lived all of my life till I went to college in Southern Ontario in Canada. And I was born into a wonderful Christian home. Well, no, I guess not a Christian home. My parents didn't accept Christ as their Savior until I was 6 months old. I was 6 months, and one day they got saved right around the holidays, and we got into a good church. And I just grew up my whole life. I always loved going to church. I still love going to church. And
churches.
Yes, I go to
3 different churches.
Yeah. Well, I need a lot of preaching, but
I don't want to say anything. There's the key.
There we go. I like to be involved in church, but anyway, back to when I was a kid. So I grew up and just very happy home and very thankful that I have the great privilege of being able to say that I never went to public school ever. From my first day of kindergarten till graduating with my Bachelor of Science degree from college. I was able to go to Christian school every day through my whole schooling years. And I'm very grateful for that because I avoided a lot of temptations and, maybe wrong desires that I may have had that I just wasn't even exposed to those kinds of things. So I'm very, very, very grateful.
So from Ohio, I was 30 years old. Actually, I was 29 when I was at a missions conference. And the Lord had been working on my heart for a long time. I'd owned some businesses, sold some businesses, owned my own home. And the Lord pressed upon my heart that he wanted me to serve him full time. I was not married, 29 years old, turned 30 just before I left for Bible college, which is where I met Virginia. And then I was only there for a few months when I met you. Right.
You came, in August, I think? You came in August, and then we met
November the 11th.
I have to tell the story of how we met. So, do you want to tell your part up until knocking on my office door, and then I'll tell the rest of that. But sure. Let me tell, first, before we talk about how we met, let me talk about how I got to college. Okay. So I went to a Christian school, and I'm not like a trailblazer by any means. I'm very much a kind of like a follower, and most of the kids in my high school were going to this Bible college, and so it was never this, agonizing decision, like, where should I go or should I go? I was just like, oh, well, that's just obviously what I'm going to do, where I'm going to go. So that's where I graduated from high school when I was 18 and just went straight to Bible college. And I was very, very homesick the first, I would say, 4 or 5 weeks. And I just mentally shook myself and said, what is wrong with you? Because I had looked forward so much to going to college. We'd had tour groups come through, and I couldn't wait to go to college and maybe, if the Lord allowed, go on tour and sing around the country. And here I was crying all the time. I was so homesick. And so I was like, this is ridiculous. I got to smarten up. And I did. After that point, the Lord just gave me comfort, I guess. I don't know what it was, but I thoroughly enjoyed my time in college, and I was very, very grateful for that experience. And so I had the privilege of traveling 2 summers for our college, and it was so much fun. I loved to sing and just getting to go to all the different churches and meeting the preachers and all that, and their wives. And so then I graduated, and I met you. I graduated, and then I met you I worked on staff for 1 year, and then I met you. So, okay, so now you're in college and...
Just started college.
Yeah, just started college. Okay.
And, of course, 30 years old.
Yeah.
And
we've got
off campus.
We have a bit of an age difference. So we're 7 years apart. But
so,
he's older.
Yeah.
In case you didn't figure that one out already.
I don't know how much to say, how much not to say. The college that we went to had very interesting dating protocol.
You know what? Rather be safe than sorry.
So the first bit of time that I was there, we were supposed to, find somebody, go out on a date, whatever. And so there were so many different kinds of dates. But anyhow, so I finally got to the spot where I said, it doesn't make a difference. I don't need I don't need a girlfriend. I don't need to get married to be fine. Whatever. I told the Lord, I said, I'm fine with this. I'm finally at peace with this. I've been praying for a wife for a long time. And I said, finally, I'm okay with this. And so I think it was like the next day or the couple days after. I don't remember. But one of the professors to whom I had met before I went to school, he had been with the tour group at our church that I had surrendered in that summer. And he was the one who said, you need to find a wife when you get there. You need a wife. If you
So this is about you've been in college for about 2 months at this point.
About 2 months. And so I saw him one day and he said, so how's the dating going? And I said, it's not.
It's not.
And he said, okay, I'm going to give you some names. So he gave me 3 separate names. And so Virginia's name was on one of those on that list.
What did you do when you got the list?
And
you went?
So one of my friends who was there, who's an older guy too, we would always go into the
lobby,
little dining area, whatever they called it there. It was a little like
Liberty
a snack
Square?
shop.
Yeah.
And we would go through. They had all the old yearbooks there, so we would go. I went through and we just started looking up the names to see what the girls looked like that he gave me the names for. And so anyhow, I said, okay.
You didn't pick me first, though.
She said,
Did you?
no, but the other ones, that's why I said the dating was like really weird. They considered it a date, which it was basically chapel, come in, sit down. Hi, how are you? Good, have chapel. Oh, got to go, bye, gone. There was a date. That was weird. So anyhow, but so.
Our first date was significantly better.
Yeah, it was because I was off campus.
I was on staff and he was off campus. So that was nice.
So
we'll get to that though.
So I went and I asked her, and you could tell you're part of that, but I went and asked her if she wanted to go on a date.
Okay.
She said, yeah. I told her where we were going to go and everything like that. And then we went.
Okay,
so now you can go and you can tell the rest.
Okay. So he looked me up in the yearbook, and I had an office at that time. How did you even know where my office was? Did somebody tell you, or you just...
Everybody knew where everybody's office was.
You just asked somebody. So I'm sitting, I'm very much a rule follower, and nervous about breaking the rules and all that. And so one of the rules in the college was 2 unmarried people of opposite genders could not be in a room alone with the door closed. That was a rule. And so I'm working at my desk one day, and my desk was just a little tiny office, and my desk was facing the door and then my back to the window. And I hear a knock on my door, and I say, come in. And this guy, Jeff, walks in, and he's only been in college for two years. And obviously, if the door is closed, when you knock on it, you close it behind you. I mean, it makes, in the real world, that makes sense. So he opened the door, walked in, and shut the door behind him. And in my mind, I'm like, wah, 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 the door is closed. The door is closed. This is not good. So he comes in, and then he introduces himself, and he confirms that I am who he was looking for. And he said, yes, this teacher said that you wanted a date. And he's like, do you want a date? And I was like, okay. And then he said, where do you want to go? And at that time, Olive Garden, and still pretty, I do like Olive Garden. He was off campus and I was on staff. So the rule was that you couldn't drive in the car together, but you could meet at a location wherever you wanted to go. So within reason. So I said Olive Garden. He said, okay, we set the date. And so we met at the Olive Garden, and you had the best thing planned that I think, seriously, you should patent it. At least for Bible colleges. It would sell out.
I don't think there's any Bible colleges that strict anymore.
I don't know. I think there is. But anyway, that's beside the point. What he had prepared all of these 3x5 cards with questions. Everything you could possibly want to know about a person you're interested in. And so instead of it, like he asking me the questions and me asking him the questions and it feeling more like an interrogation, we would read the card, just pick a random card and read it, and then read it out loud, and then answer it about ourselves, and then the other person, then you would answer randomly, pull it out. What's your favorite color? I'd answer mine, then he'd answer his, and it was the funnest way to get to know him.
And I had a devotional every date.
I loved it. No, don't be like that. That was amazing. Because I had dated a few guys in college, and the 2 guys that I had dated briefly before I met you, one was super spiritual, but kind of dull and boring and dry and not really fun. And then the other one was just all fun and no substance. And so then I met you, and you were like more spiritual than the spiritual guy, more fun than the fun guy. It was just everything all in one package.
So we had our first date, and this professor had said to me, when you ask a girl out, if you like them, don't call them back right away. Take a little bit of time, wait, and then call them back so they don't think you're, anxious and, desperate. So I said, all right. So, I knew the first date. Maybe sometime we'll go through that.
Good time.
Actually, we'll talk about that maybe more detail some other time. But so I knew that she was the regular. I had never really dated before. I was all business. I wanted to be a businessman. I had started businesses. I ran businesses. I just had no time for dating at all whatsoever. So I knew this is it. I'm not going to fiddle around. This is the one, whatever. So, but I did not call her back, did not talk to her, did not make another date that night at all whatsoever. And I walked into college
just a
couple days later, just at the most. And the professor was walking out as I was walking in. So he stopped me and he said, well, because he knew I had asked her out. He said, well, how did it go? I said, it went great. He said, so do you have another date? I said, no. He said, idiot. And he walked away. I'm like, well, you're the one that told me to do it. I mean, why you call me an idiot? But that's what.
So that was in early November, and then you came to Canada at Christmas time.
December 26th.
And we walked. My parents drove, and we walked. We were very close to the Canadian-U.S. border, and so you could walk across the border at that point. So my parents drove across, dropped us off at the Canadian side, and we walked across the border. It was so neat. So then there's this little section. There's a Canadian flag, and at the top of the bridge, there's a Canadian flag, and then an international something, an international flag or something. And then an American flag. And so we stood there and like, oh, look, we're not in Canada, we're not in the United States. Like, it was just kind of a cool moment. And at that spot, he told me he loved me for the very first time.
Gave you a little ring.
Gave me a ring with a little heart on it. And it was so funny because I got back to college and people were like, did you get engaged? Like, we'd been dating for 6 weeks. And I was like, I hope not, because it was just like a little chip of a diamond in it. But I mean, hey, it was beautiful. I still have it. I love that ring. And so you told me.
I stayed in a family member's house.
Yeah, the DeRoses.
The DeRoses house from your church.
That are still friends with us today.
And I slept in their son.
Steven's bed.
He was a little boy at the time. I slept in his bedroom. And he took a whole bunch of these little
snakes or something, was it? Like rubber snakes?
And rubber snakes and spiders and stuff, and put them underneath the sheets so that when I pulled the sheets back, it was all, he thought it was funny.
But Jeff passed the test. He was cool about it.
Yeah.
So they're real good friends. I used to actually babysit for them when they're little. Their kids were little. Anyway, so then we dated, we kept dating, and then we got our cheat sheet, yes. And then do you want to talk about when we got engaged?
That was about, that was Valentine's Day.
Almost 2 months later.
Yeah.
After you told me you loved me.
So we had our first date November the 11th.
Right.
And then that February the 14th, I had everything prepared to propose to her.
That was so cool.
So I had a limousine that pulled up to the college, picked her up with a dozen red roses.
Yep.
And then I surprised her, had her parents in the limousine
all the way from Canada,
because we weren't allowed to go by ourselves. So we had her parents there, chaperones.
Yep.
And went to
Italian Village. Oh, and the fanciest. It's different levels. Like the bottom floor is the cheapest, then mid-level, and then super, super fancy. And we went I still remember on the dessert it had this like beautiful sugar design thing.
And so then I had ordered a horse and carriage, whatever you call it, to take us through Chicago, and then it was going to stop on the Chicago River. But they never showed up. I'm like, what am I going to do?
We're all standing out there in February in Chicago.
Where are they? So finally I called the limousine driver back. He came. He was so nice. He wasn't doing anything else. He came and got us, picked us up, took us over to the bridge on the Chicago River, stopped in traffic for us.
Yep.
I got out, she got out, we walked over, and I knelt down.
There was all these flags, American flags, all over the bridge. So it was the Michigan Avenue. Was it Michigan Avenue? Over the Chicago River. I forget the actual. It might not have been Michigan Avenue. Anyway, whatever. And he had written a poem for me, and he read this poem. He got down on one knee and asked me to marry him. And all the traffic beside were like, beep, 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 congratulations, congratulations. It was
Kiss her.
I know. We're like, we're not
She's
allowed.
like, no, she doesn't want the demerits. Oh, I don't care about the demerits. Kiss me.
No.
No.
Oh, stop. What in the world? Good grief. It was not like that at all.
Just kidding.
After all these years, you can still make me blush.
I'm adding stuff into it.
Oh, heaven's sakes.
Anyhow.
But anyway, so then we got engaged on Valentine's Day, and then
It
got married
was
August 1st.
August the 1st, and we spent that entire time with her preparing for it.
Yep.
And we got married in St. Catharines,
Yep. in August.
Ontario. And then we
Came back to Indiana to finish, so you could finish up college.
finished up my schooling. And so that's kind of the
That's pretty much.
foundation of our life. And then I've been
Almost 30
a
years ago
pastor, started off as a youth pastor. And then I was a senior pastor down in West Virginia. I started off as a youth pastor in Ohio. Senior pastor, we went down to West Virginia. We'll tell stories about that as time goes on. Some of you may know some of the stories about that, but there's a whole lot that surrounds that and what took place there. And then we went back up to Ontario, and the Lord used us there to start
15 years.
Yeah, to start a church there that's still going.
Yep.
And I'm not there as pastor anymore. We came back to the States, and did a very short period of time as an associate pastor. We went out to Chicago, back out to Chicago.
Yep.
I was a pastor in Chicago. We came back. We came to Pennsylvania. I took the position as a chaplain, and then I started pastoring one of the churches of the conference that owned the nursing home that I was being a chaplain for. And so we'll talk about that more too. Through a series of events, I've had to resign because of my health. I've had to resign that position. But there'll be a lot of stories that go as time goes on through all that. So we have spent, because no pastor does it by himself at all whatsoever. My wife has been as much a part of every church, or more so than I have. I'm just kind of the figurehead that was up in front of everybody all the time.
But we're a team.
We were a team the
since
entire
day one.
time. We've been a team in everything. We've been a team. We were a team when I was going through school. She typed my notes. She helped me out in that way. She took care of the baby. She did that. We've been a team the entire time. She's played the piano. We got lots of stories that we'll tell you about all that stuff. That clock that you hear right now, if you can hear that, we bought that with our money from our wedding.
Yep, we've had that.
So that's what we've been doing for these last almost 30 years.
Almost. That's hard to believe.
Crazy,
Yep.
but it's true. So that's kind of the background of where we are with this, and our experience that we are bringing to you, having a very happy home. If any of you that are watching this are pastors, wives, when I say that as pastor, we still had a happy home, you will understand that.
Right.
Because a lot of pastors...
Ministries can be tough. Yeah.
Ministry is extremely tough. And to be able to pastor almost 30 years that we have, and have your kids still going to church, loving God, serving God, married good godly spouses, have godly homes.
It's a huge
That was
blessing.
a miracle of God.
It is a miracle. And
have gone through what we've gone through.
Yeah.
And so I guess that's kind of why we kind of think maybe there's something in our life that you can take from that, an encouragement to you, that you can make it. And maybe as a pastor's wife, maybe you had problems, difficulties, and things that came as a result of it. Maybe there'd be some things that we can say that you would say, I'm not alone. They felt the same way. Things were going the same direction, because it doesn't mean that you're a bad person or anything was bad about you. It just, stuff happens like that, especially in the pastorate. It's just a bad,
Yeah.
it's a difficult, it's the most wonderful thing in the world. I keep hitting this thing. Most wonderful thing in the world to be able to serve God. But don't let anybody ever tell you that serving God is easy or it's for the faint of heart.
But
It's not.
there's no better life.
There's no better life.
There is no better life.
No better life.
Despite the toughness.
There's a lot of
Despite
tough
the
times.
discouragement, there are the joys and the blessings far, far, far exceed those.
So, and when you go to Bible school, you always hear all of the, this is great, this is good, you're serving God, da, 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 da. And you don't really believe when they say you're going to have tough times, you're going to have people
Right,
who are
really,
against you.
okay.
You're like, yeah. No, this is going to be the best thing that ever happened. And then those things hit you.
It can knock you off your feet.
Oh,
for a
it'll
bit.
knock you off your
Yeah.
feet. And you got to be able to get back up.
Yep.
And so that's where it takes a team, though. That's
Right.
why
Each
we
other.
made it.
Right.
Because we wouldn't have made it for the times that I was down, she was up, she was down, I was up.
Yeah.
And
And the biblical principles that we could fall back on. Yeah.
We held each other up
Yep.
during those times. So this is
True.
our first one. Welcome to our podcast. And really, it's a life cast, because really it's what we're doing is we're casting our life out there. And so as normal with YouTube, if you're a hater, don't leave any comments.
We are who we are. We're sorry.
We are who we are. If you don't like it, then don't watch. But otherwise, if anything we have is a blessing to you, we would love to have you put that down in the comments and let us know that. That would be an encouragement to us as well. And if you know Virginia or you know myself and you have contact information, but you have a question or something that you need, then we would be happy to be a help to you.
Sounds good.
All right. So thank you guys for watching the Spud
And sweet potato.
podcast, Lifecast.
See you guys later.
Bye.